Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 17th of April 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. Also, just a quick mentioning of yesterday, I wasn't able to run the traders tea time in the evening due to some technical issues here in our office, but today hopefully everything is now back to normal and we can continue with the videos. So before we jump into the charts, as always guys, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. The content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the DAX. Now the German index here continues to travel nicely to the upside. So I was talking about this this index last week, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this level right here near the 12,030. By the way, I've mentioned that one yesterday in the yesterday's morning video as well. So what we need to do here, guys, is of course, now that we've managed to clear this 12,030 level, the next target for us could be around here, around the 12,190. And just to show you what that level was here in the past, that was around the lows of the 28th of September last year. So keep your eyes on that level to 12,190. Just slightly above that, we do have a very nice downside resistance line. Now some of you might call it a bit of a tentative one, but nevertheless we had something similar on the FTSE, and it continued to hold the index down, continued to hold the price down. So we could see maybe a small hold up around here, around that levels, maybe just slightly above that 12,190 level. But still keep your eyes on that level first, on this level first, the 12,190, and then if it fails to kind of hold the buyers down, then the downside resistance line could be that other good area where the price could receive a hold up. So this downside resistance line, by the way, is running from the highs of January 2018. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. Of course, looking at this picture right now and looking at the 4-hour chart here, of course it is looking quite promising for the DAX. But if this, let's say, suddenly drops back below the 12,030 level, now this is going to be our little neutral territory between the 12,030 and the 11,850 zone. So in a way, for us to start looking at the downside, we would need to see a drop below the 11,850 zone. But even then, the downside could be slightly limited due to this upside support line taken from the lows of December last year. So that's why, guys, for now, let's play it short and simple. For now, let's keep a close eye on this 12,190. Let's see if it actually gets tested or not. If the index suddenly drops back below the 12,030 level and then starts breaking the psychological 12,000 level again, then we may see maybe a slide here lower towards this 11,850. But again, like I said, for us, this little territory here is a bit of a neutral one. So that's why for us to, let's say, start looking at lower levels, we need to see initially a drop below the 11,850, and then we'll just take it from there. Jumping into WTI, also talked about this one yesterday in my morning video, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this level right here near the 64.65 level. You can see that the commodity managed to rebound from its 63 level here. Also mentioned that one because what I was telling you initially, guys, to keep a close eye on this one, because if we see a drop below this this, then yep, we could see a further decline, but you can see that this level acted as a very nice area of support. So basically now what we're looking at here is of course the 64.65 level, but before we could consider further acceleration to the upside here, we need to see that break above this level, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and then yep, we could target higher levels like the 65.75 or above that. Don't forget that until we see that break, to be honest, I mean the commodity could also just retrace back down, and actually it could continue ranging here between these two levels. So that's why for now, guys, don't rush into this yet, just continue observing it and wait for that break, especially if you wait for a 4-hour candle. If you see the 4-hour candle closing above this level, this could increase the chances for this commodity to travel further north. In terms of the downside, as you can see by the arrows here, I mean, this is going to be that little territory where, to be honest, I mean, we're not going to go short or anything, because even if we see a drop below the 63 level, now this of course could increase the chances for this commodity to travel lower. The only thing is that we do have this upside support line, the short-term upside support line here, running from the lows of the 8th of March, and we could see maybe the commodity, the WTI, rebounding from it and pushing back up again. So in a way, for those who are more on the cautious side and looking for something more, maybe a deeper move lower, wait for a drop below the 61.85 level, which marks the lows of the 5th of April. This way, not only that it would confirm a nice break here, a nice lower low here, if we take it from here, if we measure it from this point here, this 5th of April low, but also it would place the commodity below this short-term upside support line. So that's why, guys, this level here, it could be a much better confirmation of a deeper move lower. Jumping into Bitcoin very quickly, not going to spend too much time on it. Still the same kind of game plan remains here for us. After declining last week, and yeah, after declining last week, it basically found good support here near the 4,950 level. And by the way, what I'm looking here is Bitcoin on Bitfinex exchange, so that's why you might have slightly maybe different levels on if you're looking at another exchange. So basically, long story short, guys, now, so you can see that it reversed back to the upside. It's a good sign for the bulls. The crypto managed to get back above the psychological 5,000 level, and what's also interesting, that it managed to get back above this high here that we saw on the 15th of April, which is Monday, and basically that was around the 5,220 zone. So it managed to get back above this. Now the question here is, will it actually continue traveling further up here? Will it actually revisit the recent highs near the 5,440 zone, 50 approximately there? But in order for us, let's say, to aim higher again on this one, we would need to see a nice good push above these recent highs that we saw here back on the 10th of April, and only then we will aim for higher levels. Then we could aim for the 5,750 zone, or even higher, maybe towards the 6,000 level. But again, for now, this is going to be a little neutral territory for us here, because like I said, the crypto could start ranging here, even if it travels all the way here towards the 5,440-50 zone. It might reverse back down and in a way start ranging between these two levels. So that's why, guys, don't rush into this yet. Let's wait for that better confirmation here, and the better confirmation would be that break above these recent highs here, these April highs. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on this one. In terms of the downside, as you can see by the arrow, we need to see a drop below the 4,950 level first before we could aim for slightly lower levels. AUDNZD now, the Aussie got a nice boost this morning during the Asian morning, and of course that boost got boosted by good Chinese data, and you can see the spike we had here, and that was seen across many of the pairs, Aussie pairs. So, and what we're looking here right now at the AUDNZD, where, and the reason why we're looking at this one, because even though the Aussie looks quite strong right now, NZD could be picking up as well. Even though we did have a bit of a slide in the New Zealand CPI figures lately, still the NZD could try to fight back, because we had it in a way it behaves similarly to Aussie and the Aussie dollar and sorry, the Australian dollar, as we saw Australian dollar selling off on the kind of dovish RBA minutes, and then quickly recovering the next day, we could see a similar situation in the New Zealand dollar. So that's why, guys, for now, looking at this picture here on the AUDNZD, certainly the Australian dollar looks strong, but the NZD could be picking up as well. So that's why for now we could see maybe a bit of correction here, a more correction back towards the 1.0650 level, something like that, just to show you what that level was. So it's currently balanced. You can see that it's currently balancing near these highs, near the highs of the 20th of January, but it may travel a little bit lower here, test the 1.0650, and then potentially maybe rebound, of course, if the bulls will still have enough strength on this one. So we may see kind of something like this happening. So let me just put a narrow here. There we go. So that's what we could see happening here. But if this 1.0650 level fails to withhold, a slightly deeper correction could be seen. We could see retest the 1.0625 level, which also acted as a good area of resistance recently here this week. And also last week as well. So, but again, don't forget, we also have this little tentative upside support line here. In a way, somebody could draw it this way here, taken from the lows of 29th of March, but some of you might actually take it from here and keep this in mind. So in a way, you could do that. Yep. Both of these lines, to be honest, are quite tentative. So that's why we're not going to kind of put too much emphasis on them. What we're going to focus here more on the support and resistance levels. So if we see the 1.0625 level getting broken, and you see the rate traveling below it, now this is where it could turn out to be a little bit more ugly for this pair, and we could see maybe the bears kind of stepping in and potentially driving this one much lower again. So for now, guys, be very careful with this one. It's a very interesting pair. If we see this one traveling back above the 1.0685 level, yep, we will then target the recent highs, today's highs, I would say, and those were around the 1.0730 mark, approximately there. So we're going to target that one if we see a nice good push above the 1.0685 level again. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. For now it's a very interesting pair, but at the same time very tricky one. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, GBPUSD. I talked about this one yesterday as well, and what I was looking here is I was talking about this little small range within another range here. But in a way, for some of you, maybe you saw this more of this one as an upside support line here. So in a way, well, not to overcomplicate the chart anymore. So let me just get rid of this area right here and mark a new level, a new low, around somewhere around here, basically near the 1.3030 zone, approximately there. So in a way, you can see that the pair traveled lower. It broke this upside support line, traveled lower, rebounded from the 1.3030 zone, and now it kind of pushed higher, but failed to drive above the this upside support line again. The only thing is, don't get me wrong, I mean, it's still the beginning of the day here, still morning here in Europe, and we could see this one traveling back up here, but again, for us to consider higher levels, we need to see a nice good pop above this one here, above the 1.30-125 zone approximately there, and only then we will target higher areas like the 132. But before we could even start looking at this scenario, we need to see the pair traveling back above this short-term upside support line. So but looking at this picture right now, you can see that this line continues to kind of to hold the pair down. So I mean, after it broke into the downside, it traveled up, tested it from underneath here, and it's kind of struggling to get back above it. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to take a slightly more cautious approach and wait until we see a drop below the 130.30 zone, and only then aim for lower areas. And by lower areas I mean this 129.75, just slightly below the psychological 130 level. So that's why for now, guys, be very cautious, keep your eyes on some of these key support and resistance levels. So in terms of the downside, like I said, the break below the 130.30 could be that gateway towards lower areas. And in terms of the upside, well, we're going to take a more conservative approach here and wait until we see a push above the 130-125 area, something like that. So, and then we'll target towards slightly higher areas. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. So hope we won't have any technical issues in the office here today, so that I could deliver my traders at tea time later on at 13:15. So please, yep, join me then. We will have a quick review of some of these instruments and maybe some other new ones, yep, we'll see how the market is going along. And yep, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, guys. Thank you very much, and bye bye.